plans, probably one with Faker and one with EasyHoon. They won't be able to get away with hard banning Mar in this next game. SK Telecom still going with that Lulu.
There's a Morgana ban, yeah. I think that's pretty necessary against Jin Air.
So, bit of a mix-up. Rek'Sai will be taken out on the red side, of course. There is LeBlanc. Faker still with a perfect win rate on that champion.
Yep, and it'll remain perfect because he can't play it this game, so that's good.
And what will the last ban be? SKT did want to remove the Xerath in the last game, but instead, Kassadin.
Yeah,
all right. That's a bit of a surprise. I feel like Kassadin, Faker the better Kassadin player out of EasyHoon and Faker, but they don't want to first pick it apparently in this match. Will the Gnar be removed?
Yeah.
No,
okay,
it will not.
Lissandra.
I think that's definitely better.
Okay, here we go. We know they're going to lock it in. Yep,
All right.
Of course, yep.
And man, this is bold by Faker. GBM has successfully played Ahri into this before.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is it is a bit of a takeaway from GBM, too, honestly.
It definitely is.
It's not just a bold move by SK Telecom. It's a legit takeaway from GBM.
But that said, GBM has played Ahri very well into this matchup on several occasions. So, but Faker saying, all right, I'm confident enough in my Xerath play. I'm not going to give GBM his best champion. And now, how will Jin Air respond? Taking a possible Lee Sin. I think Janna the better choice here.
I agree. And do you think they're actually going to lock in Lucian?
If they really want to be very lane dominant, they could. Janna Lucian, not something that's particularly easy to deal with, a lot of excellent trading damage.
Yeah.
But I think Jarvan going to be the safer pick.
Yeah, makes sense. It's the possibility to lock down that Xerath, and this is setting up for another opportunity for them to really camp Faker. You know, if they get that flash out of the way, then they could really make his life miserable in mid.
So Sivir likely to be taken here. That will help Faker stay alive in the back line.
Yep.
Better than the Corki will. That means Corki will go over to Jin Air after Pilot having an MVP performance on the champion in the last game. And more than likely, another lane swap with the Corki-Janna combination from Jin Air.
Yeah, you know, Rumble is available for Marin, too, if he wants it. That was banned out against him in game number 1.
Yeah, they're just going to take the Lee Sin right now. They can save that top lane pick.
Yep.
And they'll be able to see a little bit more of what Jin Air has planned before they dedicate themselves to a Gnar. But they also could give up the Narvin combo here with the... And that's been pretty devastating around the world these days.
Well, we know Trace does just fine on
Corki
Gnar
Gnar
as
is
well.
probably going to be the pick here.
We've been seeing some Tristana picks in the last days of the old Tristana.
They could also pick mid here and save that top for a counter pick, but there's not too many counter picks to Gnar these days.
Yep.
GBM looks like he's trolling around a little bit.
I'd love to see GBM's Annie.
And if he plays Annie into Faker Xerath, that would be bold. No, it will be Ahri or Gnar here.
Well, they don't need to pick the Ahri at all. I'd say the Gnar is a better choice, definitely.
Well, it's just about, do you want the top counter pick, or do you want, you know, that way you play the Ahri when you already know the mid lane, or do you want to be extra safe with your mid lane pickup? I like this better.
True.
Gnar, I think, is a bigger power pick. You already have the setup for it. You already have the Jarvan. Go for the Gnar.
Yeah. You never know. It could be a support Xerath.
Now, SKT could pick Rumble because they can assume that Jin Air is going to lane swap here.
That's what I was kind of wondering about throughout all of this.
Pickaboo will probably play Thresh.
Yeah.
And
Thresh
it could
Rumble.
be Thresh Rumble here. Would be likely, I would say, and then just accept the fact that Jin Air is going to lane swap against you, so you do get an advantage by not having the Rumble in lane against the Gnar. Or, alternatively, if Jin Air decides to go that route, then at least you get the Sivir in lane against the Corki, so you split the difference in terms of advantage in lane swap.
Yeah, I think the Rumble could really work here, and you know, Marin has made that work.
Oh, well, this is quite different than I expected.
Yeah, maybe Braum Renekton. Okay. Huh.
So huge front line, actually.
Yeah.
Smart. I think that's quite intelligent. Now they have Braum to block a lot of the Corki damage coming, a lot of those Corki rockets, and they can counter-engage off of the Jarvan before the Gnar can get in position. They may still have issues, though, with this Ahri coming around the side, they don't really have a good answer to an Ahri flank yet.
Yeah, and
this Bang is going to have to stand at the front line, so Ahri is a great choice for Janair.
Yeah, can't imagine them switching that to anything else at the moment.
I think the Thresh, though, at least you can put a box around Faker's Xerath. If the Ahri comes in, and at least slow her up a little bit and give Faker a little bit of time to respond. Faker's going to have to be really on point with his Xerath stuns in this game to survive against GBM, but you know, if there's one thing Faker's good at, it's skill shots.
Yep, that's true. So if there's one thing Faker's good at, it's taking champions in tough situations and making them absolutely crushing.
There's one thing Faker's good at, it's League of Legends.
Yeah, that's true. It's playing mid lane in League of Legends. That's pretty much what he's best at. Yeah. We don't know, though. He could be a fantastic cook or a singer. He could have other hidden skills. Someone like Faker probably does.
But he's not the best in the world at anything else. I'm pretty darn sure.
Yeah. He's definitely not the best cook in the world or the best opera singer in the world. But he is the best mid laner in the world. He is that.
So now, here we go into game 2. We do see the Ahri, actually GBM running Cleanse this game. Very interesting. So no Ignite.
Yeah.
Just afraid of stuns that could be coming his way from Faker. It will limit his kill potential. That will mean that he cannot solo kill Faker because Faker has that heal. So he's going to be reliant on Chaser to help him out with any mid lane aggression that goes on post 6.
Well, step 1, get the flash. Step 2, camp Faker.
We've seen it work before. Ambition did it with Jarvan. Can Chaser repeat that feat?
True enough.
And Marin will be playing the Renekton again. He did well in the last game.
They even did that against Faker's Ahri as well, which is a champion that's mobile, you know, summoners are not.
Right.
So, theoretically, Xerath may be even harder to take advantage of. We'll see, though. Janair with a chance to 2-0 SK Telecom, but can they do it with Faker in the mid lane? Let's find out. That intro's like, remember me? I'm on the Janair team too. But you probably won't see me very often. Poor Captain Jack.
Of course, especially after Pilot getting that MVP in the last game.
Seriously.
Putting salt in the old Captain Jack wounds.
It's true. Poor Captain Jack.
He's played well too, actually. He's played well too.
Yeah. Canada loves Faker.
Oh, nice.
Everybody loves Faker.
Who doesn't love Faker?
That's right. Wow, that is some excellent penmanship, I've got to say. Wow, that's impressive.
Foreign fans.
With
doing
penmanship.
with the sick sign meta.
That's right. Wow. Well, GBM versus Faker. It's happening.
And everybody lined up in the river right now. So no early game shenanigans. Just putting down wards. Typical fan formation. A little bit of a weird ward up in the top side from SK Telecom. They want to see if the lane swap's coming in. Yeah. Now we're going to see a 4-man invade by SKT.
Okay.
Just a little bit of deep warding.
Yeah, we'll see. Q through the bush there. Are they actually going to try to grab this blue, do you think? Or just the ward? Nope, just ward.
I think they're just concerned about where Chaser is starting in this game. Chaser is in the top side at the moment. We do see Pilot and Che setting up in bottom lane. So it looks like Janair not going to want the actual lane swap here. Marin walking into the river doesn't go too far. He is scared. They have no wards up in that.
Yeah, that's a safer way to do it for sure.
And now Trace and Chase are trying to disrupt the jungling. Oh boy. Sneaky. They're going to try and mess with this leash.
They are. Chaser and Trace right there. They want to take this Gromp, but this is going to slow down SKT a lot if they can take it. But no.
They're just trying to be annoying.
Yeah, I guess so.
But that'll mean Chaser doesn't get a leash now, and neither does Bengi. So weird situation developing. Both teams taking a bit of a hit right there to their early jungle. Now, however, that's just going to slow down any early aggression by Bengi.
Yeah.
And Lee Sin more dangerous than Jarvan in the early game.
We've seen so many early gank attempts from Jarvan, though. I'm surprised that Janair would just kind of take that opportunity away from themselves to maybe get that flash early from Faker. Doesn't that seem a little bit odd?
Yeah, I mean, I think after the last game, it looks like Janair really wants to emphasize the control that Gnar will have over the top side of the map and get things really rolling from that angle, because the Gnar will obviously be much more threatening in the late game, or if he gets an advantage over this Renekton. So if that's your goal, then making sure slowing down Bengi in that way will also mean that Gnar won't have as much of a threat.
Yeah. Well, Bengi getting really low, but takes off the blue buff.
Yeah, this is both junglers pretty much going to have to do 2 camps and recall without the leash.
Yeah.
So that just is going to change the tempo of this game pretty significantly. Also, the other advantage that it has is that Ahri is likely to get poked out early in this game. And so if he can't gank mid lane pre-6, that means that GBM can make it to 6 where he will have the kill potential in this mid lane. So I like what we saw right there. A little bit weird, but I think that Jin Air just dialing back the tempo of this game will help them out more than SK Telecom.
Faker's like, my opponent hasn't died yet. There's something wrong. Can you check this computer? Clearly there's something wrong with my mouse or keyboard.
He's upset that he has to wear the Easy Hoon headset, clearly.
Oh, that's true. He's like, I'm not Easy Hoon.
This isn't me at all.
You know, why label the headsets if they're just going to have Faker and Easy Hoon both use the one that says Easy Hoon? That's the real question here.
They just don't want to spend the time to switch it out, I guess.
Yeah. What do you think about GBM's bow tie today?
I like the Houndstooth one a little bit better.
It's very shiny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little too shiny, really.
Yep. Probably a player's family there. We haven't been told for sure. People hiding their faces. Just because if the thing is, if Faker looks out of the booth and looks at you, you will explode. It actually happens.
You actually turn to stone. It's like the Medusa. We're okay. You're okay. Don't worry. You're just looking at him through a screen. That's
right.
the safe way to look at him.
If you look at him in real life, you may actually die. That's true. Those eyes pierce flesh and bone.
It really is just his majesty. Have you ever seen something? It just causes you to go insane.
Yeah.
Mortal minds were not made to
That's
comprehend
true.
the glory of Faker.
A lot of H.P. Lovecraft short stories were actually about Faker. People don't realize that, yeah.
It's not that he's malevolent in any way. He's just extra-dimensional.
Yeah. He's just beyond human comprehension. That's really the key, you know? Faker can't help it that he's a giant tentacled being from another planet that's been on our world for millennia. That's just, that's just his lot in life. So,
he came from another realm specifically to play League of Legends.
That's right.
He was biding his time for centuries, for millennia, like you said, until League of Legends was released. Now he knows his purpose.
He was given the mission to go forth and show the scrubs how to play. Yep.
He's been quite successful so far. I'm not sure what the issue is right now.
A fan of Peekaboo on the right side.
Well, they got their wish just to see him play this evening.
If you say it literally, the characters do say peekaboo, but that's because there's really no I sound in Hangul.
Yeah. It's either peekaboo or peekaboo.
Yeah, you'd have to choose between one of the two. Yeah. So I think peekaboo's a better way to go. I agree with that sign. It's hard to Romanize things with Hangul. Oh, Faker getting some nice poke in onto GBM there.
2 points into the queue already. So, but GBM, of course, he will be able to sustain thanks to Ahri's passive as well as the flask that he bought early.
Oh, GBM. Yikes.
Well, I mean, otherwise you're just going to get pushed in right there. You have to stand forward and use that Orb of Deception.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wants to be able to at least maintain an even CS score, and he's got the superior sustain, so he should be comfortable, at least for the moment, in that situation. Now,
Chaser may try a gank here in the bot lane. I don't know if he's going to get a chance, though.
I don't think he is. It's not pushing in that direction. And Pilot able to get some free damage onto Peekaboo right there, and now he will be safe.
Hello.
Okay, hi, Bengi.
Don't mind me, I'm just killing the Rift Coward.
Oh, okay, Bengi has no abilities right now, so he's definitely losing this one.
Oh, no, he has to flash, and now suddenly Peekaboo in the middle of all of this. It looks like Bang's going to do some damage, though, but the support's so low. Che low, there's the first blood going to Chaser.
Bengi's dead.
Bengi and big trouble. Che comes in, has to flash over the wall. Faker came down. There's a double kill now for Bengi. Oh boy, or for Chaser rather. A kill for Bang, so they get one out of it at least, but That went pretty well for Jin Air.
Yeah, and that's just the Rift Scuttler in the wrong part of the lane. If it had been actually on the opposite side, closer to Faker, that wouldn't have happened at all. But Chaser very patiently waiting for Bengi to blow all of his cooldowns on the Scuttler before moving in and chunking him pretty severely. And I think that was just a mistake. Bang and Peekaboo shouldn't have been able to shouldn't have gone into that fight. They should have just let Bengi die right there. They do pick up one onto Bang, fortunately for them. Meanwhile, Pilot no kills, just 2 assists. So he can't quite complete that phage.
You know, the Rift Scuttler actually lived through all of that as well, too. He made it out. The devious Rift Scuttler just causing death wherever he goes.
It's his plan all along. He will survive by baiting people into killing each other. And then Chaser, his own jungle right there. Looks like Peekaboo taking the opportunity to get some deep wards in alongside Bengi, knowing that the recalls had already come in. Pilot face tanking some of those minion waves so he can start to get a bit of a freeze right here. He really wants to capitalize on his advantage, especially because Pilot and Che have no more summoner spells. They want to be playing it safely, close to the turret. Bang actually going for a brutalizer first. Wow, that is really aggressive.
Yeah.
Usually we'd see the pickaxe and moving towards an Avarice Blade in this matchup just for the extra gold so you can start farming up into an Infinity Edge, but now he just wants to poke as hard as possible onto this Corki.
Well, that lane freeze that Pilot's been able to accomplish is going to make it a little bit tough to do that.
Well,
He's got the defensive edge. I mean, yeah, you can throw the Boomerang Blade.
Yeah, Boomerang Blade and Ricochet is actually going to cause this to break. But enough caster minions are already lined up that Bang not using any of those abilities. He wants the lane to push out. This Brutalizer was all about the kill pressure on the Pilot and Che pre-6. And since they have no summoner spells, Bengi can make a play work down here if Pilot and Che aren't careful. Meanwhile, the top side, Trace did start with the cloth armor, but he's been staying even against Marin. Of course, Renekton that lane bully early on.
Yep. Marin, though, has plenty of that innate tankiness, I suppose, too, so. And the maneuverability as well.
And look at this. We do see Bengi making some moves up onto the top. So he's just going to ward the Tri-Brush from the Baron Pit.
Yeah.
Providing a little bit of safety for Marin as he does push up. Bengi actually not taking the Rift Scuttler right now.
Chaser managed to clear that pink, too, by River, so Faker's going to have to play it a little bit safer for a while now. He has no wards and no vision around the river.
Yeah, look at how well Jin Air has warded around the mid lane right here.
Yeah.
GBM able to push up very safely, especially now that he's post-6. Marin just using that teleport to catch the wave up at the top side. Trace will go back and get those Ninja Tabi.
Oh, GBM getting really low here. He's got to be careful. Faker with the ult. Can GBM dodge it? Faker waiting at GBM. He can hit the ults and he can dodge him just as well, I guess. Wow.
Doing the safety dance in the mid lane.
No kidding. Dance if he wants to.
He must leave his friends behind.
I guess.
If your friends don't dance.
If they don't dance, then they ain't gonna die to Faker, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
that doesn't.
But if you don't dance, at least you'll stay. Well, you must dance to stay alive, I guess. So.
Yeah. You pretty much do. Huh. Well, I don't know. That doesn't work at all. That reference just fell flat. We tried.
It was a noble effort.
That's true.
The safety dance still very relevant, though.
Always relevant, yeah. I mean, have you seen that music video? It's crazy, man. It's like a weirdo kind of Renaissance festival thing going on. Not that Renaissance festivals. I can't speak today. I don't know what's wrong.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, Faker gets charmed, gets knocked up. Can he get away? Trying to make it. He has no flash.
Ignite. No ignite.
Oh, GBM.
That's the difference right there.
No kidding. Well, actually, GBM got stunned right at the end of that, too, and that prevented the last couple autos from coming in. So the combination of that and no ignite, Faker somehow lives through that.
Even though there was no flash in the mid lane, GBM actually had used his cleanse earlier when Faker tried to all-in him. Couldn't quite get the damage down right there, and that's what I was talking about. Without an ignite, he needs Chaser there as well. Flashes, actually lands the charm. There's the knockup. Great chaining of CC.
Yeah.
But just not enough damage. GBM also running out of mana right there. And,
That's stunned, though. Wow.
I'm wondering if Chaser should have just flashed and killed himself for that.
Could be.
And traded 1 for 1, but at least given GBM the kill and control over mid.
It is Faker.
And they could have pushed down maybe that tower as well.
Yeah, you're right. That probably would have been worth it. Huh.
Of course, you do have to balance that out by giving Faker more gold. That is a legitimate concern, naturally.
I suppose. I mean, at this moment in the game, we saw he already went back and bought his Morello Namicon, so it wouldn't have really changed the items, per se, that he would have had access to. But, oh well, hindsight's 20/20 now. We'll never know, but we can always assume.
Well, at the very least, Chaser still has his flash to make another play.
Yep. And Faker has his flash up back as well now. That sentence did not, I could not, I don't know, it's Saturday, you know, it's the end of the week. My mouth is tired, I guess, I don't know.
My mouth is tired.
Getting old, Monty. I've talked a lot this week.
Well, they're zoning out Faker right now from this dragon, but it'll be difficult for them to take it. Faker at full HP, and GBM still in the mid lane. Just trying to get that vision, but there's the ward remains. And Marin going for, of course, Tiamat first. Typical Marin Renekton item. Yep. He almost, pretty much in every circumstance, he will build that item. That has, I think, been a flaw of his in the past, but I like it, obviously, in this situation. Gnar having a tough time with the wave clear this early on in the game. Meanwhile, Trace going straight to
There's the ult again. GBM dodges it once more. Faker coming up to try to get another Q. He does hit the auto do it. He dodges the stun. GBM coming back in with a little bit of damage himself. But uh-oh, Faker. Oh, GBM dodges again. Bengi, the one who's low now. Can Chaser come in for the kill? Yes, he can with the flash. Wow.
Great safety dance from GBM to dodge all of those Qs. He dodged the ult and then 2 Qs afterwards, even with Bengi coming in. Really unlikely that he would have done that, but Chaser using his flash right there. Good thing he had the flash up that time. That secures the kill onto Bengi.
Yeah. See, unkillable mid laners right now. Peekaboo taking a little bit of damage, manages to prevent much of that with his shield, which is good. Probably would have died otherwise.
Well, I'm really surprised GBM was able to dodge that. Look at this right there. Gets hit by 2, dodges the third one. And look at this. He knows he doesn't have any cooldowns after this Q. So he comes in. Well, you think, well, that was bold, but really good. Sees that Faker has no mana, sees that he has cooldowns. Faker will move flash forward, doesn't hit the Q onto GBM. Kick out the Chaser. He's got that flash, saved it from the last time, and that means they pick up a 1-for-0. Fun little skirmish in the mid lane, and GBM, wow. What a good read on that situation as well. Sees the lack of cooldown, sees the lack of mana on Faker, and does something really ballsy, which is then Spirit Rush in.
Well, GBM.
Show me another player that would push the limit like that. That was very impressive.
Well, Faker.
Yeah, Faker would do it. But GBM just playing very well on this Ahri, and that'll net him an assist.
Well, he's a master of the champion. He's a master against the champion as well, it looks like.
Now, Chaser has translated this 3-kill lead that he has now into a pretty quick Sightstone here, so they should have vision advantage around the Dragon Pit. Now, can they convert that into an objective? Jenner has to. This is how you snowball out of the jungle, is through vision. If the jungler starts getting kills, they have to turn it into wards.
Yeah. Take note, solo queue junglers. If you get an edge.
No, in solo queues, you just turn it into damage, honestly, on most junglers, and then just wait for people and just 1v1 them.
You can't tell a support main to do anything other than focus on vision.
Well, in the pro scene, yes, this is a great way to snowball. In solo queue, I don't think so. I think you should just walk into the enemy jungle with a bunch of damage items and just solo kill their jungler. That actually is the best way, I think, to snowball in solo queue.
This is a good time to bring up that Monty is only playing Vi right now in solo queue. I want people to know the context. There's a dragon for Jin Air. No resistance at all from SK Telecom.
Yes, and that's it. Great job by Chaser. Turn that gold lead into increased vision, take it very safely. Bang a Peekaboo heading off back to base at the time, and so this is looking good for Jin Air. I mean, obviously, SK Telecom very much a threat in this game still, but Trace is quietly starting to get very tanky in the top lane.
Well, it's not very quiet with Gnar, actually.
Constantly
He's
yelling.
Constantly making noises, yeah.
Love the fact that he went Sunfire here, because he has had a problem pushing back the wave so far and having to farm under his turret, which has caused a bit of a CS deficit for him at this juncture here as we pass the 15-minute mark in a few seconds, and Marin starting to get tanky as well. Instead going for the, interesting, he's going for the Merc treads this game, but with how much crowd control is on Jennair, I think that's probably a wise choice.
Yep.
And of course with the Corki and the Ari as well, providing that long-range poke that proved so troublesome for SK Telecom in the last game. And now Trace able to do a little bit of trading. Oops, he has a shield bug on him.
Hey, he's not using the other Gnar skin too.
Okay, so here's another all-in attempt. We see Chaser moving up into the mid lane. They know Faker's flash is still down, so he and Che will be looking for the kill, but they're going to find some good wards. Faker easily able to clear that one out to help with the pink ward. There's also a ward in that brush, so they're not going to find a pick here at all. Faker will just poke them with a Q.
Yep, he's going to find a leisurely time back in the mid lane.
Or he's just going to wait there and waste Chaser's time. Yep, farming from max range. Chaser, you should know that he knows you're there now, yes.
Pretty obvious stuff. Well, Faker getting some nice poke in onto GBM, and
Safety
there's
dance.
the ult again. Can GBM dodge it? He dodges the third one yet again. Pokes GBM out of lane though.
Wow, and GBM with both flash. But look at this, Faker knowing exactly how much damage his ult was going to do right there. If he hit all three, he would kill GBM. So he was hoping to get the ult or the flash out in exchange for his own. But GBM, cool as a cucumber right there. Doesn't use his ult, doesn't use his flash, trusts in his abilities.
Wow, good burst onto Bang there. Gonna push him out of lane. Wow, a lot of bursts. Oh, Bang had to flash. That rocket would have killed. Ignite ticking away. Is it enough? No, not quite.
Wow.
That was close.
Very close indeed. Had to use his ult as well. Now there's going to be a free turret here in the bottom side. Pilot already with that Trinity Force, and this will be all too easy with the Jarvan standard to get the extra attack speed. Faker putting some damage down onto the mid lane. He is not moving. There are two pink wards right there, so they can see if he comes out of that mid lane position. And actually, they may look for a kill right here instead of the tower. Trying to cut off from behind as GBM returns to mid, but Faker, he's got the control over that zone, and no turret. Ooh, I'm not sure if that was a good call from Jennair.
Yeah, I think the objective would have done them a little bit more good.
They're trying to prey on Bang, who used all of his summoners and his ultimate.
Yeah.
So Bang very afraid of walking up into that turret, and indeed he should be. Pink ward in that brush.
Well, GBM is just ducking out of lane too whenever he gets a chance as well to put even more fear into Bang's heart.
Chaser coming back up right now. Into the lane. They really want to turn this into a kill. One auto left. Oh, two. Excuse me.
Wow. I thought you were a good analyst, Monty.
Screwed that one up.
Oh well. At least you knew what it was.
So Bang actually, this brutalizer that he had so hoped would help him out in this laning phase has actually resulted in a 30 CS deficit and no kills, even though they did get those summoners from the little bit of a skirmish in the river. And now Jennair really turning this one around. Pilot and Chain nearly picking up that kill, getting both summoners and the ult from Bang. And they were trying to get it a little more snowballed than they would have otherwise, but instead Bang very intelligently playing back. Trace starting to take control at this point in the game too. Marin losing that early game dominance. Now that there's so much armor onto Trace and he is able to passively damage the minion wave with the Sunfire Cape.
Well, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with this dragon in about a minute. I think that has the potential to really swing the game either way.
Yeah, Faker recalling well in advance just so he can get back in time, perhaps to pick up the blue buff as well, which will be very helpful for him.
I'll grab that needlessly large rod so he's on his way to a death cap.
Yeah, very important time right here. Trace hits the big Gnar form. He's not going to be able to get it quite back up in time for this dragon. He's now waiting for Renekton to recall, and that will be a cowl for Renekton. Marin going heavy into the MR in this game.
Well, the wave clear's pretty good for Jennair right now, so it's tough for SKT to put too much pressure on that lane, I suppose, before Dragon.
He has another Negatron Cloak as well. I wonder if he's going to build Hex or Hex Drinker next, just because he wouldn't. I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't need another Cowl, another Null Magic Mantle alongside his Cowl, so that's intriguing.
I wonder. Wouldn't be like an Aegis or something, would it?
Could be, but I don't think that Marin would be the one to build that.
Yeah, it'd be a bit bizarre, wouldn't it?
Marin actually going to get a tower for his trouble.
Yeah,
after chipping away on it all game. He will be rewarded with it before Trace can get into lane. Barely getting it. Here we go.
The engage comes in from Janair. They lock up a lot of SKT. GBM getting really low. Has to get out of the fight. Bengi low. And Faker trying to take him, and he can't. Even with the ult hitting on the last one, Che managing to keep GBM healthy, and they're going to go on this Dragon.
Pilot
SKT
2
can't get it.
With the Summoner heal there to help keep GBM alive. And again, GBM had to use his flash earlier in that fight. SKT turns onto the mid lane turret instead, and they're going to get 2 towers for a Dragon. Great trade for SK Telecom.
Yep. Pilot getting poked pretty hard on the way into lane.
But that's what you expect here. When you're Janair, Renekton is going to push you in early. So is Xerath. You are going to lose some HP on your tower, so SKT finally converting that early game pressure advantage into tangible gold, but they are still at a gold deficit, and now there are a couple dragons down as well.
Yep. It is starting to get a little bit dangerous for SK Telecom. It's surprising how few kills we've actually had with how much action we've seen in this game.
GBM 2 with the DFG looking for that assassination, couldn't get enough damage down to get a kill. Bengi actually very narrowly surviving that team fight.
Yep.
But they come out with the objective they wanted. Now they're able to farm, and we haven't seen Trace and Marin in these fights yet. They've been just sitting on an island, farming up in the top side.
Yeah, neither one having to use that teleport.
So Trace, though, he's becoming problematic. That is the really big deal here, is that now we're at a point in the game where with both top laners over 200 CS, that gold lead not going to be as meaningful. And this Gnar in a full tank build is going to be an absolute nightmare for SK Telecom to deal with.
Yep.
Pilot just trying to get this wave all the way back into the tier 2, see if he can get any damage. Bang quite afraid at this point. And Bang doesn't have the wave clear that he would normally have either with the static shiv because of that brutalizer build. So he can't push it out particularly, well, as quickly. I mean, he's still Simmer. He can push it out pretty darn quick.
Well, I mean, he just went into all damage with the IE. Not worrying about the extra clear from the Infinity Edge.
So now Janair wants this bottom tier 2.
Oh, trying to go in onto Bang. They force the flash there and the ultimate.
And now can they defend this turret whatsoever? Faker has to push all the way up. Looks like Janair not going to commit 4 people down to this side. GBM will beat a retreat back to get some farm in the mid lane, and this means that Janair has to back out or put themselves in a really dangerous situation.
Yeah.
They don't know where Xerath is. They really can't press this advantage, even though the Sivir ultimate is down.
Yep, just pushing the wave into the turret as Bang comes back, but that's about it for now.
It's not much happening right there.
No.
Subtle advantage for Janair, trading the flash for the Jarvan ultimate.
We've got another really close game between these two teams.
It really shows the caliber of both of these squads. I mean,
yeah, they're both looking really good today.
So Marin moving down through the enemy jungle, getting some wards in where he can, trying to keep track of that red buff, which will be snagged by Pilot.
Yeah. Well, Faker versus GBM is definitely not disappointed.
You were right, Joe. Marin did go Aegis.
Oh, he did. Well, I wasn't expecting to be right on that one. That's
I was confused by it. I mean, regardless whether he went Hex Drinker, this would be a very late Hex Drinker, and then if he went for Aegis, there could have been something really weird, like double Cowl, and then he built into Veil and Spirit Visage.
Yeah.
But with less magic damage on the composition of Janair this game compared to last, that would have been really strange. So he's going to be the one who gets the tankiness, and probably it's just because Bengi's so far down. If Bengi had not died twice already this game, he's kept up in farm, but he is quite poor,
Well,
especially if we compare him to Chaser, who has those 3 kills.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, they really do need an Aegis with Ari Corki on the other team. That's going to prevent a lot of the damage.
Yeah, and that's the big deal here is that if Bengi had built the Aegis, he would be behind Jarvan in terms of tankiness. So I think they just want Bengi to build a little more selfishly. Yeah. And since Marin has the CS advantage in the top side, he has a little bit more disposable income to spend on the Aegis. So that's probably the logic behind it.
Well, looks like Jin Air takes top turret throughout all of that as well, too. That's evened up the turret count for each side. Dragon up in about a minute and 15 seconds or so. And that would be, I believe, Jin Air's 3rd Dragon if they can pick this one up.
Yes,
they have been so good at controlling Dragon and getting that objective.
And the 2 stories here are that Faker hasn't died in the mid lane. They couldn't make that gank work from GBM and Chaser despite all the resources they invested into it. And the late game Xerath is absolutely terrifying, but the same thing can be said of this Gnar.
Yeah.
So really, as we move into the late game, we have to keep our eyes onto Faker and we have to keep our eyes onto Trace, because these are the guys that should be starting to peak in terms of their power the longer this game goes.
True enough.
Whereas Marin and GBM will start to fall off a little bit, even though GBM still has fantastic ability to burst somebody down. So he will be looking to get onto Faker and make his life uncomfortable.
SKT trying to push up these lanes and get a little bit more room to clear out the vision around the Dragon Pit. Peekaboo throwing that Q off.
Marin pushing up the bottom lane, actually.
Yeah.
Bit interesting right here. Advantage to SKT, though, because they actually still have their tier 1 and mid up.
Yep.
So it's going to be difficult for Jin Air to contest this objective because they can't push the mid lane far enough down. GBM just staying right on the edge.
Well, he managed to kill that pink ward, too.
Yeah.
Not bad. All right, Jin Air going in. Dragon is up.
Yeah, that said, too, the tier 1 and bottom, the advantage to Jin Air.
Oh, boy, are they going to try it? Faker getting in position for some poke. Bang as well. Will we see the ultimate? Faker just poking.
Trace
Can they
is
possibly
dangerously
steal
close
this?
to Mega Gnar.
That
This is great
true.
timing.
There's Mega Gnar right now, jumps in, and he ults. He actually pushes Faker away from the fight, though. Faker, can he turn this one around? A lot of damage onto Peekaboo. Ult used immediately by Che to try to keep himself and others alive.
Great
Dragon
attempt.
was taken by Jin Air, though.
Great attempt at an engage by Trace. Used that transform nearly perfectly. However, Faker flashed it, and Bang spell shielded his ult. So there wasn't enough follow-up right there from Jin Air. Chaser opted not to go in with his Cataclysm, and Che stays alive.
Well, they got the
with
dragon.
his Monsoon in the back of the fight. But they got the Dragon. They didn't lose anybody. They got Faker's Flash. So they should be pretty happy with that. Trace using his Flash right there as well. And, ooh, the manners coming in from Jin Air, laughing at Faker.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that to Faker in lane.
The last time somebody, laughed at Faker.
Oh, Faker getting blown up by GBM. Trace with the sick taunts. And he's going to get away from that one just fine. Wow.
GBM coming in, cleanse and flash used right there. They're going to be able to get this tower more. Bengi has to flash out.
Dude.
Risky to walk up to Trace like that. I don't know. Bengi not having a very good day. GBM.
Faker's angry.
Well, the last time somebody slash left onto Faker, he penta-killed OQ, so.
Yeah. It's dangerous, but then again, Trace just laughed, and then this happened.
Look at that perfect cleanse from GBM. Wasn't stunned for a second there as he manages to get out from the turret damage with the rest of his Spirit Rush. And we'll enjoy DFG while it lasts, won't we, Doa?
I guess so. Well, that's why they're taking it out of the game. They're like, we've heard this is the only thing that can kill Faker. This cannot continue to exist in League of Legends.
Well, Faker wanted this matchup. It's a really rough one to play. I don't know why people keep playing it. I think it's too risky.
Yeah.
To be fair, it did work for Incredible Miracle in their last game, but they also had Lulu to save Xerath, and that's the big, big difference here.
It's also
without Peekaboo around. I mean, Peekaboo's there to save Xerath, but the thing is, if Peekaboo uses his shield onto Xerath, then they're not going to have much of a front line.
The other thing, too, is that it's worked a lot less than it hasn't worked.
That's very true.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, Jin Air made it work as well. They played into Goongzari and won that game, but...
True. But again, how many times has it not worked before that?
Yeah, it's definitely a bad matchup. Trace
my support.
Going to harass Marin right here, and Marin actually going to run away. He doesn't have enough information about where the rest of the team is, starts to get scared. He could have just taken that turret, actually, but we know that because we have an observer view.
Sure enough. You know, my support Kha'Zix has won games, but that doesn't mean it's good, or has won most of the games that it's been in.
Well, just some farming right now. As both teams try and clear out their jungles, and we'll start to see them recall for items. Aegis now finished onto Chaser.
Yeah.
Be quite helpful against the magic AoE. Can't really underestimate the damage from Dominus. That ability does a lot of damage over time if you take a full channel.
True. Oh, GBM has his Zonias now, too.
Trace, he's going for the, I don't know if I like this. He goes for Thornmail before he gets an MR item. I think that's a little weird. I think that means that he just wants to split push for now against
Could be.
the Renekton and force him into unfavorable trades.
Oh. Faker and Peekaboo tried to make a play there. They get some poke on.
Dance.
Chase. Chaser manages to get out with Che.
Wow, Faker's ults have not been very on point today compared to his normal level of Xerath play.
It's very true. His escapes have been pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the last one.
It's not that he's been playing Xerath badly.
No, not at all.
It's also the fact that GBM has dodged his skill shots remarkably well.
Well, GBM has just suddenly become like one of the best mid laners in the world, so that's going to happen.
Very weird to say that, but it is true.
Marin recalling on a ward.
And Janair, I mean, this is another very controlled game.
Oh, he's going to go on to Faker again. And look at that. GBM, can he get out now, though? He has no flash. He's Zonias has had enough time. Che comes in. There's the ult.
Here comes the
GBM
teleport.
Still alive. Yeah, the teleport coming down now. All used for Peekaboo as well, too. Chaser comes in, drops a Cataclysm. There's a double kill as Bang starts to clean up some of that fight. Trace comes in. There's Meganar. Can they catch him? A big ult. Bengi and Marin thrown against the wall. Marin looks like he may still be able to escape this. But 2 kills on both sides.
Maybe not the best idea for GBM to ult right there.
I guess not.
Faker looking a little bit agitated. If they could take a tower from this, it would be perfect. Peekaboo a little bit low.
Oh, looks like they'll get it. Yeah, they will.
So actually, it ends up being in Jin Air's favor. They keep Faker down as well. Faker did pick up an assist, but not much else from that.
Yeah.
But they had to blow teleport. Actually, both teams blew teleport right there. Let's take a look at this one again. GBM finds Faker. There's the DFG. Hits him with everything. Comes in with the second ult. Gets stunned. Uses the cleanse and the Spirit Rush to get out. Che with the Flash Monsoon. Now the TP comes in from Tracy. Not really close to getting Meganar, though, so he can't do much right now. Marin comes from the flank. Pilot finally arrives and starts raining in some rockets. Trace gets the transform off eventually. They shut down Bengi.
You know what's really funny is that Chaser's Cataclysm actually trapped GBM so that he couldn't get away from Bang, and that's why he died. He would have escaped if there would have been a corridor.
Well, Bang probably... he's got enough speed, and
Bang would have had to like run through the entire Jin team to do it, though. Yeah, I think GBM would have gotten out.
Well, that was a bit of a surprising move, I think, by GBM.
Yeah.
SK Telecom trying to go for a Baron right now. They will be forced off of this
risky.
objective. They can't really do this. Well,
Oh,
Pilot's doing Dragon.
I guess so. Oh, they're just going to get their 4th Dragon and trade that for a Baron, possibly. We'll see if
Baron's
Chaser
going
can
down
steal
really slowly, though.
It is. SKT getting a little bit
Pilot's
desperate. They may
gonna
pay
get
for
here.
it. That's right. GBM comes in, starts to lay down the damage. Cataclysm dropped in there as well. Bengi extremely low. GBM with the Zonias. Baron getting low. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Bang. He claims it for SKT, but will SKT be able to get out? Looks like they may be able to. Double kills for both AD carries. Faker blown up, though, by Pilot. A triple kill for Corki.
A huge wave in the top side as well, but recalls Empowered coming back in for SK Telecom right now. Pilot's still pushing up this wave. Will be difficult to get through the Baron minions.
Well, despite Baron taken for SKT, Jin Air still coming out on top in that one, I think.
Yeah, GBM coming up right now. There's some good wave clear. Are they just going to face tank this? Looks like they will.
Wow, and they can do it too. They're going for the inhibitor now as well. I mean, there's time. Only Bengi's going to be up. I think they might be able to get this inhibitor.
Yeah,
they will.
Can. Wow.
Wow.
Great fight from Jin Air. And actually right there, a bit of a mistake by Chaser. He had About half a second where he could have smote that, actually. I was watching for the smite during that fight. Bengi was pushed out, and it was really just Bang furiously auto-attacking the Baron that managed to pull that one out. I think Chaser absolutely could have gotten that steal. So that was a bit sloppy by Chaser, even though he had a really good Cataclysm into the Baron pit.
And don't forget, guys, right before that happened, Jin Air was able to get their 4th dragon.
Right.
Yeah, so that happened too.
So a little bit risky. Let's watch this again. Faker also flashed back into the pit right there, which was a big mistake on his part.
Yeah.
Look at that CC, the knock-up coming in as well. Now watch the Baron HP. Chaser has his smite up. Okay, right there, right there. You had a lot of time. Look at that.
Yeah, he tried to focus on Bang, but he had a chance.
Yeah, Bengi arguably could have gotten that one as well. But Faker flashes back into the pit with 4 members. That was, I think Faker...
I think he's on tilt.
Maybe tilting a little bit.
I think GBM is successfully tilted. I mean, geez. Faker does not have to deal with what he's dealt with in this game often. He does not often get laughed at and then immediately killed under his own turret.
Well, that said, Doa, this is now yet another game this season that SK Telecom has early picked Xerath, and it hasn't worked for them. They keep losing with it.
Yeah.
They've got good Xerath players, but other teams have just had the solution. You have to wonder about SK Telecom's pick and ban phase at this point because it's been so weird. They've shown diversity in strategies, but their champion priority, and also Marin, this game, they chose a lane-dominant champion for him when he is such a good Rumble player. His Rumble always been. Could have played Rumble here and just lane swapped.
Yeah.
You know, there were options.
Well, you know, I think you're right, and I think it's going to lead to SK Telecom having a pretty lackluster first quarter of the season, I suppose. They're going to end up 3-2 probably if Jin Air win this game, and they certainly have an opportunity to do that.
Jin Air having a really up-and-down week, too.
Yeah.
Playing like they didn't really respect their opponents, at least in the first game on Wednesday, and then coming here and
this is such a classic problem, though, with Korean teams. They honestly, like, this is like the Achilles heel of Korean teams is that they get cocky. It looks like Bang getting trapped in that Cataclysm. Chaser taking a lot of damage, but they trade the jungle for the AD carry. And that is one that SKT is not too happy about.
Yeah, that's definitely a trade you'll make right now, especially with super minions coming into the base, because the pressure provided by having an AD carry when the opponent does it in this situation is absolutely huge.
Yeah, they may just go ahead and tank this turret down in bot lane.
Oh, yeah, Trace is huge. He has a GA now as well. Kind of a weird build path for Gnar, but he's making it work.
Very tanky. Yeah, they will get that turret, no problem. So right now, Jin Air doubling the turrets of SK Telecom, 6-3.
Pretty substantial advantage, but the real story is this dragon in 2 minutes. That 5K gold lead. SK Telecom can't. They must fight. They must fight it. But they also have to deal with super minions. Inhibitor will probably be back up by that time, but they'll have to clear out the last few waves at the very least as Pilot heads into the top side to farm up I think just a little bit more, and he is getting close to the Infinity Edge.
I think going forward here, SK Telecom has 2 things that they need to do for their future matches. One, just have Faker play in the first game. The other one is don't blind pick Xerath. If they do both of those things, I think they're going to have a lot more success.
I think this is the 3rd game they've lost this season by blind picking Xerath.
Yeah, and it's you know, honestly, it's hard to blame Faker for any of this because he's been playing well. He's playing as well as he can be expected to in this situation. But even Faker, if you put him into that bad of a matchup, is going to have a hard time.
And I guess my question this time, though, is why not just have him play Ezreal?
Yeah.
Like, play Rumble in the top lane, play that double AD composition, then you have 2 bully lanes in bot. Yep. Even play Renekton, it's fine. Then you have 3 bully lanes. Yeah. And just try and snowball off of some really early aggression. The Xerath pick, while of course doing well to a point, becomes just this target for this Ahri that GBM is so good at playing.
Yeah. The pick ban for SKT,
I think Korean teams are really tunneling way too hard on Xerath right now. He's got too many glaring weaknesses that you can take advantage of.
This is also a tendency of Korean teams, though, to tunnel really hard on one champion for a month or 2.
Sure, he's great. He's a great champion. He's very strong. But you have to be careful about when you pick him. It's not first pick worthy. IM got away with the first pick Xerath. I don't think they should have. I think Jin Air had every opportunity to win that game.
Well, GBM also one of the only people to get away with a first pick Xerath as well.
Yeah. But again, they had a Lulu in that game.
Yep, that's right. Oh, we may have a bit of an engage here. Marin thinking about coming in. Poke happening from Pilot and GBM. They're going to turn. Trace is Meganar right now. Gets kicked away. Huge ult against the wall, though. Traps him in the Cataclysm. Pilot and GBM having plenty of time to do damage here. They push SKT away. They get a kill onto Peekaboo. And this 5th Dragon is going to Jin Air. Wow, just looking unstoppable, but what an ult from Trace.
Just complete dominance by Jin Air. This guy, GBM actually dies to Faker. Faker will take one with him.
A little bit of revenge there at least.
But he will go down. Trace is going back. He's got his teleport up. He'll clear it out in the top side and then join his compatriots. That is going to be an inhibitor. Marin looking for a flank. That's not going to help you too much, Marin.
I don't think so.
Pilot!
Pilot, that is a very bad decision. Well, he gets stunned. Yeah, he's going to be able to get away. And he could 1v1 Marin, but man, that was dangerous.
Pilot hit a power spike again with that Infinity Edge. Pilot's build this game against this Renekton is so good. Because what is Renekton going to do? Okay, you slice and dice onto the Corki. Then he hits you with Blade. And he just kites you with crits. I mean, it's not good. This is a really, we saw this change, this matchup change a lot in the last game. There's Trace coming back, but watch this.
Come back
Chaser going to go in.
Look at that. 4-man ult.
Yeah.
Would have been 5 if Marin hadn't been knocked up at the same time.
This is the stun. Somebody goes into the pit, but the follow-up with the Cataclysm as well, just corralling everyone for the rest of Jin Air. They easily turn back onto the Dragon and secure the objective. That's really good shot calling from Jin Air as well.
Yeah.
They turned it first and then went back. Che thinks he gets Faker, gets the flash Q. A parting volley from Xerath will secure the kill onto Ahri.
Well, you know Faker's not going to let this game go without getting a little bit of KDA for himself there.
Baron back up.
Yep.
Well, Jin Air, like CJ, looks like they may cruise to a 2-0.
GBM waiting. Yeah, Peekaboo's smart to walk up there with that shield.
I'm not going to take a whole lot of damage from that, but they may lose the pink ward. We do have Gnar in the bottom lane. He has TP. Will let the pink ward die. And they just want these super minions to start pushing in. Eventually, SKT is going to have to abandon the pit to deal with them. Methodical way to close this game. And they also have to deal with Trace. Marin will need to head down into the bottom lane lest Trace take that final turret. And they're not going to be able to clear those with the poke coming in. 3 wards right there, and Chaser just going to start up the Baron.
That is a Baron for Jin Air.
Here's a TP.
Yep, teleport coming in right now, and he's just going to make sure that he can get there as Meganar and keep people away. Trace coming in with that home guard. He's zoning well. Pushes Bengi away. Bengi comes in. They're going to try to seal the Baron, already taken by Jin Air. Che pops that ult to push Marin back to keep people healed. Bang on the run already. There's a Cataclysm to use on Peekaboo. He's going to turn around with the ult. GBM goes deep. Nearly as poked out, has to use that Zhonya's. Faker looking for more revenge here as his team goes down. People chasing Marin. Trace trying to get the kill there. Looks like Che and Pilot want to help out. Faker popping that ultimate after he kills GBM.
Kills GBM with the first shot on the ult, actually, somewhere.
Yeah, you're right. This fight got a little bit silly, but in the end, it was still a win for Jin Air.
Yeah, Jin Air, they didn't have the best Gnar timing there, just because Trace had already in Mega Gnar form, so he tried to get the home guard and just zone him out while he was still in the big Gnar, but ended up being a little bit scattered. However, Jin Air did secure the Baron before Bengi could get in there for the steal. And
the 2 damage dealers left on SK Telecom, are they able to do anything? Nope, not able to save that inhibitor.
Pilot again, having such a great game.
Yeah, I think GBM is starting to get a little bit cocky with his movements on Ahri. He is chasing Faker down very, very purposefully and dying for it now.
Yeah, well, I think that just keeping Faker out of these fights, because if he doesn't do that, what happens? Faker just continues to spam Qs into your entire team. So dying for that while your team cleans up multiple members of SK Telecom isn't the worst thing in the world either. So
that is true.
As long as you can trade favorably, it's hard to criticize what GBM is doing. And Peekaboo.
Oh, Che.
Finds Che. Che not really afraid at all. Here's a TP.
Yeah, not able to really get anything
cutting off
of that.
Trace.
But they're going to try anyway. Trace with Meganar, though, right then. Pops that ultimate immediately, and here comes the rest of Jin Air. Peekaboo taking some damage. Faker trying to fire. from the back lines. Janair still pushing down the bot lane, and not a lot that SKT can do to stop this.
They have to win this fight. Their Nexus is in trouble.
That's right, Martin trying to get in, just gets blown up immediately though. Faker trying to pour in the damage. GBM dodges back onto Peekaboo now. Peekaboo backing out with the shield, gets taken out. That's a double kill now for GBM. Bengi taking a lot of hits as well. Manages to kick back Trace, I suppose. That's a triple kill now for GBM. Is he going to get close enough to maybe get the Penta? Doesn't look like it. He's got a chance. Oh, Faker flashes onto the Cataclysm.
But this siege isn't going to stop. Super Minions continue to march their way inevitably towards these Nexus turrets as Janair looks to close this game as cleanly as possible with 3 inhibitors down. They will be able to do so.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty much over. Janair is on the verge of 2-0ing SK Telecom, and they deserve it. It's not that SKT played bad, man. It was picks and bans are weird, but these were some good games, and Janair in the end, the stronger team today. There go the Nexus turrets. Bang and Faker desperately trying to stop this from happening. Faker pops the ult. One more kill. Can he get it onto Chaser? No, he can't. And there goes the Nexus, and it will be a 2-0 victory for the Janair Green Wings over SK Telecom.
Wow, Trace doesn't look happy at all with that win.
I guess not.
GBM, though, hugs from the coaches for him, high fives in the booth.
Well, that's a lot of redemption for that pretty embarrassing loss to IM on Wednesday.
That was bad.
They pulled it together a bit more. They played methodically, they played intelligently. That was Janair at their best, and really showing us that they are one of the best teams in Korea right now. And SK Telecom, you know, in-game, not looking bad, but picks and bans really are starting to be a problem for this team.
Yeah, and that's, it looked like they may have adapted. Of course, I feel that they lost in a very similar manner when they played against CJ Frost, but again, starting Easy Hoon, putting Faker in a rough situation in the second game by having him play that first pick Xerath, which GBM has proved he can defeat before. Now, it wasn't Faker's Xerath. Faker, a very good Xerath player. But
well, Faker played that as well as he could, and honestly, he